the washing machine disaster. Your laundry routine is an environmental time bomb. Every time you wash synthetic clothing, hundreds of thousands of plastic microfibers break loose and enter the water system. A single wash load can release up to 1.5 million fibers for heavily synthetic loads. These microscopic plastic particles slip through wastewater treatment plants and eventually reach rivers, lakes, and oceans. Think of your washing machine as an industrial microplastic printer. Its agitation, spinning, and rubbing actions systematically strip fibers from synthetic fabrics. Hotter water increases shedding, but even cold washes generate substantial pollution. Textile-derived microplastics now account for over a third of global microplastic pollution, making clothing the largest single source in our oceans. These fibers measure less than 5 millimeters, often just microns across, invisible yet devastating to marine life. Pre-washing synthetic clothing triggers the worst microfiber release, shedding up to 17 times more fibers than main wash cycles. Front-loading machines perform slightly better than top-loaders, reducing shedding by about 30%, but neither design solves the problem. Fabric construction matters too. Knitted synthetics shed far more than woven ones due to their loose structure. Fleece fabrics are the worst offenders, losing up to 1% of their weight per wash. A single jacket could release 250,000 fibers per cycle. Different synthetics shed at varying rates. Acrylic leads with over 2,400 particles per gram per wash, followed by polyester and nylon. Recycled synthetics ironically perform worse. Recycled polyester sheds 15% more fibers than virgin material due to weakened fiber structure from mechanical recycling. It's a sustainability paradox. Clothes marketed as eco-friendly actually pollute more. Multiple wash factors amplify the problem. Longer cycles, higher spin speeds, and powder detergents all increase shedding. Hard water worsens it further as minerals weaken fiber bonds. Even washing full loads doesn't stop it, just slows the bleed. A household washing 5 synthetic loads weekly could release 175 million microfibers annually. Multiply that by millions of machines worldwide, and the scale becomes catastrophic. Where do these fibers go? Wastewater carries them into sewer systems. Treatment plants capture some up to 95% in ideal cases. But even then, a medium-sized plant serving 100,000 people might release 2 billion microfibers daily. The captured fibers concentrate in sewage sludge, often incinerated or spread as fertilizer, cycling plastics back into air and soil. New clothes shed the most initially, but aging synthetics degrade and release more over time. Care labels ignore this, recommending practices like warm washes that increase pollution. Workout gear and complex designs with multiple seams shed disproportionately. Even donated or discarded clothing keeps polluting. Landfill leachate tests reveal fibers seeping into groundwater, while second-hand clothes shed in new owners' washes. Under a microscope, wash water reveals the truth, a swirling soup of plastic. Fibers, some pristine, others frayed. Your machine isn't just cleaning clothes, it's manufacturing microplastics. Industrial laundries compound the issue, processing thousands of pounds weekly, releasing billions more fibers. Water, heat, detergent, and mechanical action create the perfect storm for microfiber release. Unlike natural fibers, synthetics resist degradation, persisting in ecosystems indefinitely. The washing machine's hidden toll is a global contamination crisis, one load at a time. The invisible journey to the ocean. When you drain your washing machine, you're starting a pollution chain reaction. The water carrying microplastic fibers leaves your home through pipes, mixing with wastewater from other households. This contaminated water travels to sewage treatment plants, where conventional systems capture just 65 to 90% of microfibers. The rest flow directly into rivers and oceans. Picture a single polyester fiber escaping treatment. It rides the current downstream, slipping past filters never designed for such tiny invaders. The captured fibers don't disappear either. They concentrate in sewage sludge used as farm fertilizer, spreading microplastics across fields where rain washes them back into waterways. In coastal cities, Some plants discharge wastewater directly into the ocean after minimal processing. Even advanced membrane filters struggle as the fibers clog equipment like hair in a shower drain. Approximately 8.3 million metric tons of synthetic microfibers enter oceans annually from apparel alone, one garbage truck of plastic every minute. The fibers disperse through multiple pathways. Stormwater runoff carries fibers from streets like invisible confetti. Industrial wastewater discharges contain production waste from textile factories. Even the air transports them. Microplastics evaporate with water and fall as rain over remote areas. Developing nations suffer disproportionately. The Ganges River carries 1 to 3 billion microplastic particles daily into the Bay of Bengal during monsoons. Imagine these fibers as uninvited guests at nature's banquet, hitching rides on currents that distribute them globally. Researchers find identical polyester fibers in deep-sea sediments off California and in Antarctic krill, a synthetic thread connecting ecosystems thousands of miles apart. Microplastics follow complex dispersion patterns. Denser fibers sink like tiny anchors, accumulating on sea floors near coasts. Buoyant fibers float for years, circulating with currents like plastic tumbleweeds. The Mediterranean Sea contains up to 1.25 million microfiber pieces per square kilometer, a floating junkyard trapped by geography. Tracking studies reveal their speed. Scientists marked microplastics from a UK wastewater plant and detected them 95 kilometers downstream within 3 days, faster than a weekend getaway. Ocean models show fibers released from Europe can reach the Arctic within 2 years. Your laundry's hidden toll travels farther than most vacationers. The scale keeps growing. Between 1950 and 2016, global plastic production increased 200-fold. Today, 40% of apparel plastic waste becomes unmanaged pollution, 176,500 metric tons of microfibers annually, equal to 1,200 blue whales. Our wastewater infrastructure, designed for a simpler time, can't keep up. Most treatment plants built before 2010 lack proper filters, and upgrades would cost billions. Secondary sources multiply the problem. Landfills leak microfibers like broken tea bags. Incinerators release them in ash. Even recycling sheds fibers. One facility discharges 560 million per cubic meter of wastewater. It's like trying to clean up glitter with a broom. In marine environments, fibers persist for decades. Saltwater acts as a preservative, while currents constantly redistribute them like a global conveyor belt. They accumulate toxins like PCBs, becoming more hazardous over time. Nature's version of a toxic time capsule. Marine organisms can't escape them. Filter feeders ingest fibers directly. Fish mistake them for plankton. Researchers find microplastics in every water sample worldwide, proving no pristine ecosystems remain. Some fibers complete the circle. Sea spray blows them back onto land, while seabirds carry them inland like unwilling couriers. The continuous input overwhelms nature. Unlike organic matter that decomposes, microfibers simply fragment. A single polyester fiber could persist for centuries, breaking into ever smaller pieces. Sediment cores show concentrations doubling every 15 years since the 1960s. Some seafloors now contain over 100,000 fibers per square meter, a plastic carpet replacing natural habitats. Seasonal patterns emerge. Summer brings more laundry and more fibers. Holiday periods see spikes. In winter, fibers hide in ice, waiting for spring melts to release them like an alarm clock set for ecological disruption. Microfibers now permeate every ocean layer, outnumbering plankton in some areas. They transport invasive species and pathogens across basins, stowaways on a plastic voyage. Unlike visible trash that prompts cleanups, these invisible invaders escape notice until they've infiltrated food webs. Filtering them out would remove essential plankton too, leaving prevention as our only option. As these synthetic fibers infiltrate marine ecosystems, they begin altering life at microscopic levels. The next stage takes them inside organisms, where they lodge in tissues, release toxins, and disrupt essential functions. From plankton to whales, no marine creature remains untouched by this silent invasion. Silent killers in the food chain. Microplastics have infiltrated marine ecosystems at every level. The contamination begins at the base of the food chain, where zooplankton ingest microfibers, mistaking them for algae. These tiny organisms form the foundation of marine food webs, spreading plastics to larger predators. Consider the case of a young loggerhead sea turtle found stranded off Florida's coast. Its stomach contained over 300 synthetic fibers, causing severe intestinal blockages that led to its starvation. This tragic example illustrates how widespread the problem has become. The physical damage starts immediately when organisms consume fibers. European flounder exposed to microfibers ate 30% less food and showed stunted growth, while pufferfish developed intestinal obstructions leading to starvation deaths. But the harm doesn't stop there. These fibers create a ripple effect of damage throughout marine ecosystems. Beyond physical blockages, they deliver concentrated chemical cocktails to marine life. Manufacturers add hundreds of chemicals to textiles during production, and these toxins leach into organisms' tissues over time. Studies show microfibers concentrate seawater pollutants like PCBs and pesticides up to 100,000 times background levels. Fish exposed to microfiber-contaminated water display measurable health impacts. European perch larvae showed reduced hatching rates and abnormal development, while Mediterranean mussels experienced altered gut microbiomes that impaired digestion. Shellfish like oysters produce fewer eggs and weaker larvae when exposed to microfiber concentrations matching polluted coastal waters. Chronic exposure leads to generational effects. Offspring of contaminated organisms often show greater susceptibility to environmental stress. Coral reefs suffer particularly from microfiber pollution. A single coral polyp can ingest over 100 microplastic particles per day, with fibers smothering tissues and introducing pathogenic bacteria. Microscopic analysis shows fibers embedding in coral skeletons, potentially weakening their structures over decades. This adds to the stress on reef ecosystems already facing warming waters and ocean acidification. The fibers also alter marine habitats physically. Sandy seafloors near urban areas now contain up to 3% microfiber content by weight, changing sediment porosity and microbial communities. Deep-sea ecosystems accumulate microfibers in surprising quantities, with every square kilometer of seafloor potentially containing over 4 billion fibers buried in sediments. These submerged fibers interact with heavy metals, creating toxic hotspots on the ocean bottom. Microfibers impact species differently based on feeding methods. Filter feeders, like mussels, actively concentrate microplastics. A single mussel can accumulate thousands of microfibers while filtering up to 20 liters daily. Even deep-sea creatures from unexplored trenches show contamination, proving the pollution reaches every marine environment. Marine mammals face unique risks. A single gray whale may consume up to 6.5 million microplastic particles daily during feeding season. The long lifespan of these animals allows decades of microfiber accumulation, with necropsies of stranded cetaceans regularly finding synthetic fibers tangled in digestive tracts. Seabirds demonstrate some of the most visible impacts. Fulmars in the North Sea average 20 plastic pieces in their stomachs, while albatrosses on remote Pacific islands carry stomachs full of plastic debris. Some birds develop plasticosis, a newly identified fibrotic disease caused by chronic plastic ingestion, scarring digestive tracts. The contamination escalates through food chains in unexpected ways. Small fish consume microplastics directly from water. Then larger predators accumulate fibers from multiple prey sources. Top predators, like tuna, show some of the highest microfiber concentrations through this biomagnification process. Microfibers impact fundamental ecological processes beyond individual species. Researchers discovered plastic particles in marine snow, the organic detritus that carries carbon to the deep ocean. This plastic marine snow alters the biological carbon pump, potentially disrupting Earth's climate regulation systems. Reproductive effects raise particular concern. Male perch exposed to microplastics produce less viable sperm, while female fish often lay fewer eggs with higher embryo mortality rates. These impacts could destabilize wild populations and affect commercial fisheries. The scale of contamination makes recovery challenging. Unlike visible plastic debris, microfibers have become thoroughly integrated into marine ecosystems. Their small size and widespread distribution make cleanup efforts practically impossible at current concentrations. Microplastics also interact with other environmental stressors. Warmer seawater increases microfiber toxicity, while acidified oceans may break down fibers into nanoplastics that penetrate cells more easily. These synergistic effects create complex challenges for marine conservation.